This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to our day 20 training session of Oracle Goldengate Classic Architecture Training. My name is Ashish and I'll be delivering this lecture to you. So before commencing the session, just a quick round of update regarding my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Ashish Agarwal _GG. So if you haven't visited the channel, I would highly recommend you to do visit the channel and do like, share and subscribe the channel. The channel has a lot of Goldengate related videos. Thank you. So let us start our session. So in the previous session, we were discussing about bidirectional replication in Oracle Goldengate. So in bidirectional replication, we discussed there are basically two major. Bidirectional is nothing but two-way unidirectional with some considerations like looping as well as conflicts. So looping part, we discussed how can you ignore the loop by using translog options exclude tag 00 parameter. So basically the transactions which are applied by the replicate process, you don't apply those transactions. Now there is another issue which you may encounter in your environment, which is conflict related issue. So conflict related issue means you're trying to insert a row with same primary key on both sides. So which one should get applied? So say for example like 9:45 p.m. on site 1 insert is happening, on site 2 insert is happening. Now if you are doing the insert so conflicts can come only in bidirectional active scenario. So say for example you are trying to insert a row with department number 70 and department number 70 on site 2 as well. So what happens is when the other record go on the different side, it will cause conflict. So you have to understand, first of all, you have to detect the conflict, avoid the conflict, and resolve the conflict. So this is known as CDR. CDR stands for conflict detection and resolution. So in first place, if at the application level, you can avoid the conflict, that would be best. If you cannot, then you have to use CDR feature, which is called as conflict detection and resolution. So you can minimize the conflict latency at the application level. So see, one thing before I proceed, I'll tell you, Goldengate can manage your CDR, but Goldengate CDR feature works in conjunction with application. So try to minimize the conflicts at application level. Try to design your Goldengate such that there are least conflicts arise. Okay, so conflicts can be avoided at the application level by assuring that records are always updated on one system only. So if you can do that, that is good. If you cannot do that, then CDR is going to help you. Okay, so now from Goldengate version 12.3 onwards, you have automatic CDR available. So prior to automatic CDR, you used to do manual CDR. Manual CDR means you used to put your resolve conflicts parameter, and based on that, if insert row exists, update row exists, or delete row missing, based on that, you try to apply those rules using manual CDR. Now from 12.3 onwards, you have automatic CDR feature available. Automatic CDR feature means you don't have to worry about writing your own rules. Goldengate can automatically manage those CDR features. So CDR, configuring automatic conflict detection and resolution in an Oracle Goldengate configuration that replicate table between Oracle databases. So this feature is only available for Oracle database, this automatic CDR feature. So you can enable automatic CDR in your environment, which will ensure that if bidirectional active is enabled, if any conflict arise, those conflicts are detected and resolved. So to configure conflict detection and resolution for a table, call the add auto CDR procedure in DBMS Goldengate ADM package. So there is a procedure called as add auto CDR, which is inside the package DBMS Goldengate ADM. So on automatic conflict detection and resolution does not require application changes for following reason. So what happens is when you enable the automatic CDR feature, it doesn't need any application change, because what it does is when you will be doing this, you'll see all this thing. So you'll see that when you enable the automatic CDR, what it does is Oracle database automatically creates and maintains invisible timestamp column. Insert, update, and delete use the delete tombstone table log to determine if a row was deleted. So in a table, an extra column is added with the name CDRT$row. I'll show all this to you. So that is an invisible column basically. So insert and update are maintained over using that. Now, if there is any delete, so deletes are recorded in another table called as DT$ table. So when you create automatically, when you enable auto CDR, that table automatically gets created. So a delete tombstone log table is created to determine if a row was deleted. So delete tombstone log to support update delete conflict. So it is possible on one side a row is deleted, on another side update happens on the same row. So which row should win? It depends on the conflict resolution. So Oracle database automatically configures supplemental logging on required column. No need to specify CDR report error parameter in Goldengate parameter. So let us see the requirements. What are the requirements for implementing auto CDR? So for implementing auto CDR, the minimum Goldengate version should be 12.3.0.1. So if you are using Goldengate version less than 12.3, or if you are using, say, for example, 12.2, you cannot use automatic CDR. Similarly, your database version, Oracle database version for enabling automatic CDR should be release 12.2. If your database version is 12.1, you cannot use automatic CDR. So it requires a source and target database to be in 12.2 database. Then it only supported in automatic CDR is only supported in integrated extract. Classic extract does not support invisible column. So as I told you, this automatic CDR adds an extra column which is called as CDRT$row. It's a timestamp column. So it's an invisible column. So classic extract does not support invisible columns. Hence, auto CDR is not supported if you're using classic extract. And similarly, it also needs integrated replicate or integrated parallel replicate. So non-parallel replicates are not supported with the automatic CDR. Okay. So how do you configure? Log into each database as ggadmin and run simple PL/SQL procedure to enable auto CDR for table. So what you need to do is you need to log in as a Goldengate administrator user, and you need to execute this procedure. Execute dbms underscore goldengate underscore adm dot add auto CDR, and then you can provide schema name dot table name. Ensure each table is replicated. Whatever table you want to enable CDR on, ensure those are part of the parameter files. Then in the extract parameter file, you give table schema dot table, and then in replicate, you have to give this parameter map invisible columns. So map invisible columns, what it does is it maps the invisible columns in your Goldengate environment. Okay, so let us see now. Let us do that configuration. So for this purpose, we are going to follow this activity guide 20. So I have created a small activity guide 20 for this purpose. So we'll see. So to enable the automatic CDR, what we are going to do is we are going to enable it on DEPT11 table on source and DEPT22 table on target. So we'll enable the automatic CDR. So before you enable the automatic CDR, there are some requirements. Goldengate version needs to be 12.2, 12.3 minimum. Database version needs to be 12.2. So our Goldengate is 19C, hence we can use auto CDR. Similarly, database version we are using is 12.2, so hence we are safe with that. Okay, now similarly, the extract process which we have created is an integrated mode, and the replicate process also which we are using in our environment is also integrated mode. So if I do info all, so if I do info extint26 here, so it is integrated extract. Similarly, info repbi, it is integrated replicate. On another site as well, because both sites are source and target. So here you need to check both the sites, right? So all the processes involved should be same. So info all. So if you do info extbi, it has integrated extract. In info repint26, it is again integrated replicate. So we are good with all this stuff. Okay. So now what we have to do is to enable the auto CDR, we need to log into the database and execute this procedure. Execute DBMS Goldengate ADM, add auto CDR and schema name, comma, table. On both the sides will do. So for the safer purpose, it's not mandatory for you to stop the process, but yes, if you want, you can definitely stop the process. I would prefer, because you are making some changes at database level, right? So what I would, it's not mandatory, mind you, I'm again telling you, but I would recommend you to stop it. Okay, so I'm stopping EXT26, stop REPBI. When you're implementing this bidirectional auto CDR, my suggestion would be to take some downtime in your environment. Okay, similarly here as well, I'll stop EXTBI and stop REPINT26. I again repeat, you can enable bidirectional auto CDR like running the procedure, etc., even if your processes are running. But for clean setup, it is recommended to shut down the process. Okay, okay. So now, before I proceed, if I describe, say for example, DEPT22 table, and I describe DEPT11 table. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to run that procedure. Okay, so I'll connect as this DBA and then alter session set container equal to PDB1. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll execute dbms underscore goldengate underscore ADM dot add auto CDR, and then I'll give GG training 1 comma DEPT11. Okay, so I'll execute this add auto CDR. Add auto CDR means add the automatic auto conflict detection resolution. So it says PL/SQL procedure successfully completed. Now if I describe DEPT11 table, describe GG training 1 dot DEPT11. Okay, now what I'll do alter table GG training 1 dot DEPT1. So with by after running this procedure, what happens is an extra column in redo log, extra invisible column has been added. So alter table DEPT11 CDRT dollar row visible. Alter table name column CDRT dollar row visible. Is the command
modify?
Modify, exactly. Sorry, exactly. It's a modify. Modify CDRT dollar row visible. Okay.
It's
Let
in
me see
bracket, I
once
guess.
you use the CDRT S dollar. I can see now once you add CDR. So now the question is, what is that column? You want to know that. Okay. So the actual column is CDRT S dollar row, if I'm not wrong. But there is a view called as all underscore GG underscore CDR underscore tables. Describe all underscore GG underscore auto underscore CDR underscore tables. Okay, so I can do select. So there is a view called as all GG auto CDR tables. So you can find select table underscore name owner comma table underscore name comma tombstone table. So this is a tombstone table which gets created, which locks the delete record, and row resolution column. So this is an extra column which gets added. So all underscore GG underscore auto underscore tables. All GG auto CDR, sorry. All GG auto CDR underscore tables. Okay, now you will find that it has been enabled on GG training 1 is the owner, DEPT11 is the table name. The tombstone table has been created with name DT dollar underscore table name. So DT dollar underscore DEPT11, and this is the extra column which has been added into that table. So this is a row resolution column. Based on this particular column, the resolution will happen. Okay, so if I do alter table GG training 1 dot DEPT11 modify CDRTS dollar row visible. So now what happens is if you describe GG training 1 dot DEPT11. So now you can see the CDRTS dollar row is there. It's a not null column which gets automatically created. It's an invisible column. Okay. So now I'll make it invisible again. Similarly, if you describe this table, describe DT dollar underscore DEPT11. Describe GG training 1 dot DT dollar, because all the tables get created inside schema now, underscore DEPT11. So if you see, two columns gets added. One is the column primary key and second is the time at which record gets deleted. So only those columns gets recorded into a into a tombstone table, which have only those rows gets recorded which are deleted from the source table. The reason being, say for example, a conflict occur on update and delete. So delete, it has been actually deleted from the table. So that's why the information related to that record gets recorded into the tombstone table. And the timestamp related to that is also recorded. Okay, so Auto CDR has been enabled on DEPT11 table on source. Now what we'll do, we'll go to target. I hope we made it invisible. So if I now go to target, okay, so again on target as well, what we'll do, we'll stop the processes. It is recommended to stop the processes. We have already stopped those processes. Okay, now what I'll do is alter session set container equal to pdb1. Okay, now do execute dbms underscore Goldengate underscore adm dot add auto CDR and then give GG training 2 comma DPT, enable the auto CDR on this particular table. So once you enable it, then you can define your all GG auto CDR. So let me copy that command from source so that I can run. So all GG auto CDR tables basically list down on what all tables the auto CDR has been enabled on. So if you see on target side now, you will see that once we have enabled the auto CDR, now it has been enabled on DPT2 table, which is part of GG training 2 schema. And along with that, DT dollar underscore DPT22 has been created and CDRT dollar row, which is invisible column, has been added to the table. It's an invisible column. Okay. Now, once we have enabled the procedure, now next step is what we have to do is we have to edit the parameter file, the replicate parameter file. So edit param repbi. Okay. Here we have to include the parameter map invisible columns. So by default, Goldengate doesn't map invisible columns. By default, it doesn't map invisible columns. So if you want to read about map invisible columns parameter, do info param map invisible column. So if you see, If you do info param map invisible column, it says allow replicat. So by default, it is no map invisible column. That means it is default. It allows replicat to include invisible target columns when using default column map. Okay. Similarly, on other side as well, on side 2 as well, you need to do edit param repint26. So here as well do map invisible columns. Save it and close it. Okay. So now we have enabled the auto CDR. Now what we have to do is info all. Now we'll start ext int 26. We'll start repbi. Similarly, on the other side as well, we'll start extbi and we'll also start repint 26. To info all, the processes will come up soon. So they must be in initialization mode. So info all. So repbi is still not running. How can we identify why the processes are not running? If we have to look, how will we start as we discussed previously? View report, repbi. So it is in initializing mode. So right now it's in, so basically the stop doesn't mean it was stopped, it was initializing and then it is coming into running mode. Now can we confirm the processes in running mode right now?
No,
Why?
no. The checkpoint is it's not below 26.
Exactly. So time since checkpoint hasn't updated. So what this does is it updates your checkpoint files inside dir chk directory, which we have already discussed. So info all. So it should be fine in next few seconds. In the meanwhile, we can monitor the stuff on target side, which is ggate2. I should not be calling it as target, but I should be calling it as ggate2 or side 2. So on side 2 as well, the processes are running, but extract process checkpoint lag is still not less than 10 seconds, and replicat lag is not, checkpoint lag is not less than 10 seconds. So until this comes down, these processes can go to stopped or abandoned. So this repint26 is fine now, but extbi is still less. Info all. So extbi is still initializing itself. So now it is okay. Now it is okay. So it gone to 16 seconds, but it should come down anytime. It will be fine. Similarly, you can do this side as well. Basically side 1. So if you look into side 1, repbi earlier and extint26 both are less than 10 seconds. So that means they are. So now the time since checkpoint for this extract process is increasing. Let us do view report extbi. I think it is just a matter of time why it is increasing. There should not be any concern. Time since checkpoint, if it is increasing, that means that it may have some issue. So it came down. It was up earlier, then it came down. But again, port extbi. Yeah, so the report file is not generating anything. Yeah, so now it must be like it was temporary. So now you see everything should be okay. Everything should be okay in a few minutes. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to test the auto CDR. We'll be now testing the auto CDR feature. So how can we test the auto CDR feature is, for this purpose, what I have done is I have created a cron script. I have created a cron script here. So what it does is it insert the record. I have created that cron script on both the sides. So this is the script which will be invoked using cron, which will invoke at using cron at the same time. So what will happen is this script has been created. So let me insert a value with let me insert something with value as 27. So what this is doing is it will connect to DPT11 schema, DPT11 table in GG training 11 in GG training 1 schema inside PDB1 and insert this record with primary key 27, whose other two columns are sales underscore OGG DB1 and India underscore OGG DB1. Okay. Now on other side, this is GGate 1. Now on other side, which is GGate 2. Here as well, we have created a shell script. So here as well, I'll insert the same value, 27. Okay. Now here I'm putting sales underscore OGG DB2. So basically on GGate 1, I have put sales underscore OGG DB1. Here I'm putting sales underscore OGG DB2. Similarly, here India underscore OGG DB2, and let me put 22, so that I know which. So out of these two record, because we are inserting the same primary key on both sides, one should win and other should be discarded. One should win and other should be discarded. So let us see which one wins, which one lose. So basically, GGate 1 record will come to GGate 2 and GGate 2 will go to GGate 1. But data synchronization should be there, right? So as per the data synchronization, the records should be same on both the sides. And remember, this bidirectional auto CDR only works on primary key column table. So the prerequisite, another prerequisite for enabling the auto CDR is the table should have primary key defined. Okay. Okay. So now I have saved it and closed it on both the sides. So it is there, it is there. So let us verify if the lag is 0 now, info all. So if I do info all over here, so yeah, this is okay. And if I do info all over here, yeah, so everything seems to be okay. So now just to test, let us test one normal synchronization, which we tested in previous session. So another thing to remember here is, does this mean enabling the bidirectional auto CDR? Does that mean you are not going to use translog options exclude tag 00? So as we discussed in the previous session, we have put this translog options exclude tag 00. So what it does is it prevents the looping, right? So you have to ensure that this parameter is there in the extract parameter file. Otherwise, for normal transactions, looping will come into picture. So in bidirectional, as I told you, bidirectional is nothing but two-way unidirectional with some considerations. So what are those considerations? Looping and conflicts. So if you are resolving those looping and conflicts things, you are good. So for resolving the looping, we are using exclude tag parameter. So in integrated extract, you can use exclude tag. If you're using classic extract, you will have to use exclude user. So exclude tag parameter doesn't work with classic extract, it works with integrated extract, and it is recommended to use this parameter always. I'll tell you one thing, recently in few of the projects I have faced some issues with exclude user, so it is recommended parameter that you use exclude. Okay, so this, now again you may say if exclude user gives an issue, so with classic it will give. So another thing is, I have seen that issue, the usage of exclude user with integrated extract only. When it works with classic, it works fine. So that's the thing. Okay. Okay. So now for looping, you are using exclude tag, and for using for conflict thing, you are using auto CDR. So for auto CDR, you have run the procedure and then add map invisible column parameters on both replicate side. Once you have done that, restart the processes and your auto CDR is enabled. Now next step is test it. So for testing purpose, what I'm going to do now is, let me see date. So what I'll do, I'll vi cdb dml.sh. So let me run it at 2213 on both the sides. Sorry. Date cron tab -e. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll run it at 2213. and other side as well. I have to be fast, right? Date cron tab -e. I have to be fast now. Cron tab -e. So I'm putting 13 and 22. Okay, so the cron tab should execute at this time. So it's 12:41 and date. So the clock of GGate1 is bit higher than GGate2. Do you see this? So the clock, when it was 22:12:41, here it was 22:13:05. Okay, so here that 27 means the cron tab should have been executed here. So if I go to database side, if I go to database side and do select star from GG training 1 dot dept11. So let us see will that record is there or not. So that record is inserting a record into dept11 table with primary key 27. So see 27 has been inserted on GGate1. Similarly, if I go to target side, that is GGate2 side, so here as well I'll do select star from GG training 2 dot dept2. So one of the row will be the winner. So if I see here we have 27 sales OGGDB2. So basically right now, as per application, what has happened is the record doesn't matches, right? Because what we inserted on GGate1, that value is there, sales underscore OGGDB1. That means that Goldengate has not come into picture so far. So the purpose of Goldengate is to make both the databases into sync. The purpose of so right now if we see the record, because the application must have done the transaction at the same time on both the sides, right? So that's why you see, but out of these two, one has to be winner. So timestamp, the highest timestamp will be the winner. So the record with latest timestamp will be the winner. Okay, so now let us see who is the winner. Okay, so let us again run this command on both the sides. Yeah, so we have 27 sales OGGDB1, and on this side, see, now you see on GGate2, we have this sales underscore OGGDB1. So basically, the record with value sales underscore OGGDB2 has been discarded, and the record with sales underscore OGGDB1 and India underscore OGGDB1 is winner. Now you will ask on what basis it has come. So it gets decided based on timestamp. So the record with the latest timestamp gets winner, is the winner. So now let me do one thing. Let me alter table DPT, but in this case you will see both. So let me make that column visible first of all. Alter table GG training 2 dot DPT 22 modify CDRTS $row visible. Similar, oh, DPT to do it. Copy, paste. Okay, now similarly, I'll make this column visible on other side as well. Alter table GG training 1 dot DPT11 modify CDRTS $row visible. Okay, now if you describe CONN training 1 slash welcome 1 at the rate PDB1. So if you describe DEPT11 now and So you see this column. So if I do select star from DPT11, so you will see select star from DPT11 where department number is equal to 27. So this is the row. So the timestamp of this column is 3:13:30, and you also have to note down this milliseconds as well. So the row with highest timestamp get is always the winner. Okay. Similarly, GG training 2 slash welcome 1 at the rate PDB 1. Select star from DPT 2. So star from DPT 22 where department number is equal to 27. So right now you will see that this CDRTS dollar row value will be same because the other row has been discarded, right? So based on, so this column value, what happens is when you inserted the row with value 27 and sales underscore OGG DB2. So CDRTS dollar row had some value. So it should be it would have been less than 31330.465142. That's why it has been discarded. So the row with higher timestamp is the winner. That's why you see both the record has same value right now. Now how do you identify which row is the winner? There is a view called as DBA. You can identify there. So before that, let me show another thing to you at the Goldengate level, info all. So if you can check the statistics related to CDR, you can do stats REPBI report CDR. So it will report the CDR to you. It will report the CDR to you. So if you do report CDR, replicating from DPT2 to DPT11, one insert happened and total one CDR conflict came, and that was insert row exist. So what happened was the row was inserted from one side and on another side. So insert row exist issue came. When insert row exist issue came, the row with highest timestamp, the value is the row with higher CDRTS dollar row value is the winner, and it is the winner on both the sides. Now to identify what was the value in GGET2, let us see. There is a view called a DBA apply error message. I have noted it down here. It is DB apply error messages. So let me run this command. DBA apply error messages. Show user copy paste copy paste. Now it says no row selected. Okay. Let me run it on GGET2 once. It should show what type of conflict came, and it should give us the detail related to which row is the winner. So if we query the view DBA apply error messages, there is a column called as applied. There is a column called as applied. Why it isn't showing over here? Select object name, config type, describe DBA underscore apply underscore error underscore messages. So there is nothing which has been. So it shows us what is the conflict type, what is the conflict state, and it also shows us which one is the winner and which one is the loser. Okay, so it is not showing right now. I'll have a look at it later on, but you can identify there may be if I'm not wrong, DB apply error messages. Yes, this is the view. Okay, no problem. I can check it later on as well. So what happens is out of these two rows, so we inserted two rows, right? Basically on one side, cat CDB1. So on one side, we inserted a row with 27 sales underscore OGGDB1 and India underscore OGGDB2. On other side, we inserted sales underscore OGGDB2 and India underscore OGGDB2 and 22. So basically one of the row has to be the winner, right? One of the row has to be the winner in this case. So in this case, one row from which came from GGate 1 is the winner and the other row which came from GGate 2 is the loser. So on what basis it is decided? So on it is decided on based on the column which we have included here, CDRTS dollar row. So CDRTS dollar row contains the information. Basically, it includes the timeline at which the record has been inserted on source. So what happens is, so say for example, now again, how it identifies which row has to be, which row has to win and which row has to delete. Means discard. I should not be saying delete, but I should be saying discard. So in that scenario, what happens is it when the record get inserted on GGate2, that timestamp value gets recorded in this particular column. Now, when it gets recorded into this particular column, when it goes to GGate1, if the record already exists on GGate1, it will compare the CDRTS dollar row value. It will compare the CDRTS dollar row value, and based on which row has the highest timestamp. So if the CDRTS dollar row value coming from GGate2 is less than GGate1, so GGate2 record will be discarded. And if GGate2 value CDRTS dollar row value is higher than the one which is existing, so what it will do, it will override the existing value from GGate1 and hence it will be the winner. Okay. Similarly, in update row exists, same rule applies. So whoever has highest timestamp is the winner. In case of delete as well. Now say for example, on one side you are deleting a record, on other side you are updating a record. So based on what a row will be, based on what, how will you decide who is going to be the winner? So again, based on the timestamp. Now the question is, when you delete the record, where it gets recorded, how will it know? So because CDRTS dollar row will not exist, this row will be deleted from main table, so it would have nothing to compare to. So what happens is, there is a table called as dt dollar underscore DEPT11. So this tombstone table will contain the record. So right now you don't have anything. So now when I delete a row, so say for example, let me run. So what I'll do, on one side, I want to do it together. Okay. So let me do one thing. I'll do vi cdb underscore dpt1. Okay. So what I'll do delete from dpt11 where department number is equal to 27. Okay. So I'm deleting this record. And on other side, on the other side, GGate2, I'll update the record. So again, from one side we are deleting the record, from another side we are updating the record, right? So how to decide? So in that scenario, how will Goldengate decide which record to keep? Means either the record will be kept with the updated value, or either record has to delete. So based on the timestamp, again it will be decided. So escape I hash, and let me put update DEPT, sorry, update DEPT11 set location equal to Canada underscore OGG DB2, where department number is equal to 27. Okay, so now I'll run the cron job at 29. E 29, and on the other side as well, I'll run at 29. Cron tab -e. So now what happens is a delete will be executed from one side, that is Gate 1, and insert will be executed from other side. So it's not like delete will always be the winner or update will always be the winner. No. So in this scenario, what happens is based on the value that the transaction which has higher timestamp will be the winner. So as soon as it is 22:28, 22:29:00, it should be executed. So Gate 1 has 22:28:34. So in the meanwhile, what I'll do, select star. Oh, okay, here I'll run this. Okay, and on Gate 2, I'll run select star from GG training 2 dot DPT DPT22. Okay, so let us see if anything has come over here. So you see the timestamp of this delete has come, and so far we are updating the record 27, right? So it should be updated to Canada underscore OGG DB1. So I just want to note down the timestamp. Okay, so it has been deleted. It has been, so update and delete must have come at the same time together for both. So basically what has happened, even so if I do stats REPINT 26 report CDR, sorry, stats REPINT 26 report CDR. So do you see now another conflict has come? Now there are total 2. Okay, this is not the CDR conflict which has happened. I know why it hasn't come. I'll tell you why it hasn't come. Do you know why it hasn't come? Why CDR hasn't come here? Can anyone answer this for me? Okay, I'll tell you why CDR hasn't come now. The answer lies to the date here. So the thing is, if I do date, so CDR hasn't happened. So we deleted the row from site 1, it got deleted from site 2. And when update was executed on site 2, row wasn't there, hence conflict didn't come at all. So now if you see the date of Gate 1, date of Gate 1 is higher. So the timestamp of both the server doesn't matches. So basically the timestamp of Gate 1 is higher than Gate 2. Okay, timestamp of Gate 1 is higher than Gate 2. So what happened was delete executed first successfully, and hence as a result when delete happened, it got applied over here. It got applied over here using Goldengate. And when update came, update wasn't there. When update came, the record wasn't there. Hence, the record, the execution of update statement didn't happen at all because of this time issue. Okay, so now if you see, but just to show you, because this is the clock issue, but what happens if delete and update happens and the clock is same between both the sides? So what happens is in that scenario again, so if you do select star from DPT11 where department number is equal to 27. It does not exist on this side. So what happens is when you update a row over here, so update value is calculated. Update the Okay, I can test it again by using I stop the processes, the replicate processes. Then delete will come, update will come. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay, let me stop the replicate processes on both the sides. Okay, what will happen is let me run the cron job. Okay, so extract will capture it. Okay, so do you understand what I'm doing right now? Because clock is not matching and conflict isn't coming. So just to ensure conflict comes, so what I'm doing, I'm stopping the replicate process. So what will happen is when delete happens from source, it won't be deleted from this side, gget2. But what is going to happen is when update is executed using cron job, the record will be there, hence update will pass. But when I start the replicate process, in that case, this conflict will come. Let us see that if that conflict comes or not. So REPBI is stopped. This conflict scenario, actually you need application, means we are just trying to generate it from our side. We were able to generate that insert row exists easily. Similarly, you can also generate update row exists, but generating this delete update scenario is really, means generating anything with delete really requires accurate precision, because our lag is very limited. Our lag is only 5 to 7 seconds, but the difference in clock is there. So that is why this issue, we are unable to reproduce that issue. So this conflict I'm trying to introduce. Let us see if it gets introduced. Otherwise, just try to understand the concept, that auto CDR concept. Okay, so let me try to introduce it, whether it gets successful or not. So I'll do cron tab hyphen E, but before that I need, no, first of all I need to do cdb 2.dml, and which row exists on both the sides. I think 77 exists here and 77 exists. So let's start from dpt 11. 77 exists here as well. Okay. Okay. Let me see if it get in. If we are able to get it. So let me delete 77 from here and update 77 here, and let me update it to ABC. Okay. Okay. Save it and close it. Now let me do date cron tab hyphen E. So let me run it at 22:37. 37. Similarly on other side as well. Cron tab hyphen E 37. Okay, so now at 22:37 delete will happen from here gate1, and update will happen on gate2. Okay, but remember we are not right now running the replication. So what will happen, a record will be deleted from gate1, so that means it won't exist, the 77. But on this side gate2, this row will be updated from India underscore OGG DB1 to ABC underscore OGG DB1 or DB2, whatever we have. So there are 12 rows so far. Let us see date. Okay, so now it should have been executed. Okay, so now row with 77 does not exist over here. So now what happens is DT dollar underscore DPT11. But again, when we start, it may cause some issue. Let us see. So do you see this DT dollar DEPT11? The row with 77 is present, and the timestamp at which the delete has happened is 33702. Now when we go to other side, now when you run this update statement, update didn't execute at all here. Select star from DEPT22. What value we put? Let me see. More CDB. Okay, we put India underscore OGG BDB2. So that means it happened successfully, right? No, we put locate. No, we put as ABC underscore OGG DB2. So if I put date and cron tab hyphen L. So yeah, CDB underscore DML.sh, it should have executed here and it should have committed the record. And we are doing, oops, we have made the mistake. We have put update DEPT1. It should be DEPT2. Okay, let me run it again. VI CDB, okay, DEPT22. So, so let me now run this script manually. This CDB2 underscore. Okay, so one row has been updated. So now if you see, this should have been updated to ABC underscore OGGDB2. Now, do you see the timestamp of this CDRTS dollar row is 33904 over here? However, when the record was deleted from GGate1, it was 337. So basically, the row with highest timestamp should win. So in that case, the update value should win. In that case, update value should win. But in our, if it's a conflict, now in our case, if I start REPBI here, and if I start, because the issue is, if I start REPINT26 over here, now what happens is the update record from here goes over here. Okay, but when REPBI tries to apply the data, it isn't able to find that data right now. So let us see what happens in that case. Oops, sorry. SQL plus GG training 1/welcome1@pdb1. So if you do info all again, so still, so now it should be running, means now the lag time since checkpoint has come down to less than 10 seconds. Okay, now let us do stats REPBI. Let us see what happens. Does it show any conflict? It shows one update, and if I do select star from DEPT11, so I see that 77 sales OGG DB1 ABC underscore OGG DB2 has successfully been inserted over here. And if you go over here, so in delete and update, delete and update conflict, update is the winner, because this row, so if you do stats over here now, okay, so if you do stats REPINT26, so you see that, oh, we have to do stats REPINT26 report CDR. So when you do report CDR, you will find that CDR conflict 1 happened and it was delete row exist. So basically delete row exist, your delete came from source and on target the row existed. So this is called as delete row exist and it has been resolved. And if I do go to GGate1 and do stats REPINT REPBI, report CDR. So you see here update row missing. So basically what has happened is it's a delete and update conflict. Delete and update conflict means on Ggate 1 you did delete. So from delete here, you deleted the record from here. When it went to target, okay, it found that the deleted row existed over here. Hence it is called as delete row exists. And you updated a row over here on Ggate 2, and when it went to other site, application had already deleted it. Hence it became update row missing conflict. So now it has to resolve this delete update conflict. So how it resolves? Based on the CDRTS dollar row column value. So whichever has the highest value, it will be the winner. Now in case of insert, it matches the value because it exists in the table. Now when it is delete, the value is recorded in DT dollar table, which is called as tombstone table. So it matches this timestamp with the timestamp which was there, which was 339, right? When it compared the value, the LCR value which came from Ggate 2 was higher. Hence, this delete record has been discarded and update record is the winner. Similarly, this delete record, it has the LCR value is 337. It went over here, compared the value. Now, because the timestamp value, the CDRTS dollar value in LCR is less than the table value. Hence, the LCR value is rejected and the existing value in the table is okay. So in Goldengate, these conflicts are managed using auto CDR, or you can also enable manual CDR. So CDR is the feature which you need to enable in Goldengate when you are using bidirectional replication. So Ramana is asking if enable CDR, no scope of abandoned of replicate on both the sides. You can find the abandoned replicates as well. It can come due to any other reason. But in case of conflicts, the abandon won't happen. In case of conflicts, there will be no data discrepancies. This will ensure. So when conflict comes, it will ensure that data is replicating properly. And same record is there on both the sides. See, the purpose of conflict is basically you have to understand one thing. The data integrity should be maintained. Same data should be managed on both the sides. So when conflicts comes, one side is winner, another side is loser. So in case of our environment, just now what we saw, the update is the winner from side 2 and delete from side 1 is loser. Okay. So how do you enable the auto CDR? What you have to do is you have to execute the procedure add auto CDR, and then on both the sides you have to do, and then modify extract and replicate parameter file. In replicate, use the parameter map invisible column. Okay, now similarly, if you have to remove the auto CDR feature, you can just use remove auto CDR. Okay, so this ensures that the conflict resolution happens on latest timestamp. So based on latest timestamp, the conflict resolution happens. Okay, so you can configure only on okay. So now there are three types of conflict resolution which come. So you can configure only one of the following types of automatic conflict detection and resolution. One is latest timestamp conflict detection and resolution, which we saw. Second is delta conflict detection and resolution. So by delta conflict detection and resolution, we mean that, say for example, you have a balance column on both the sides, on side 1 and side 2. Okay, now on side 1, what you did, you took out some money. So you have right now $100 in your account. Okay, now through your bank, you withdrew $50, and similarly from ATM as well, you withdrew $20. So on both the sides, so basically, let me open a notepad. So delta resolution comes into picture. say for example, you have a balance column, okay, in your table. So right now it is 100. Now what you did, you have two sides. From one side, which is bank branch, you withdrew. So on both the sides, balance is 100. Okay, on both the sides, balance is 100. Now what you did, this is bank, consider, and this is ATM, automatic teller machine. Okay, now what you did, you withdrew $50 from here, from this side. So the corresponding balance would be 50 here. And at the same time, from ATM, you withdrew $20. So it will be, the balance will change to $80, right? Now, the delta resolution, what it should ensure is, the delta resolution should ensure that the corresponding value of balance column should be this minus this minus this. Basically means whatever you withdrew. So it should be 100 minus 50 minus 20, 30, and 30 on both the sides. 30 and 30 on both the sides. So you can enable the delta resolution as well on a particular column in your table. So what happens is, the delta resolution, what it will ensure that related to that particular column, if value changes on both the sides, the delta value gets applied. It should not be like if it becomes 50, the 50 should be updated over here. No, it's because 50 in this case, there should be no winner, no loser. Both sides should act in conjunction to find out the final outcome. So this final outcome will be 100 minus 50 minus 20, which is 30 and 30 over here. Okay, and then you can also enable this auto CDR on column groups as well. So you can run the procedure called as add auto CDR. So to enable delta conflict resolution, you can run the procedure add auto CDR delta res. So to enable latest conflict times or based on latest timestamp, you run add auto CDR. For running delta resolution, you can do add auto CDR delta res and provide the table name, and along with that you can provide the column. Specify the column on which delta conflict resolution is performed. Similarly, if you want to enable it on column group, so column group is there. Say for example, you have 5 columns in the table. 2 columns get updated on one side and 1 column gets updated on other side. So the value should be same. So say for example, another scenario could be, you have DPT table, right? You have value as 1 sales Canada on one side, and on another side as well you have 1 sales Canada. Now what you do at the same time, what you do is you update the sales value to marketing on site 1, so it becomes 1 marketing Canada, and on other side you update the location column value, so you do 1 marketing India. So if you see this has happened at the same time. Say for example at 10 p.m. this has happened. So you updated the sales to marketing on site 1 and Canada to India on site 2. So the final outcome on both the sides should be 1 marketing India. 1 marketing India. So you can define column groups as well. Based on column groups, the conflict resolution can happen as well. So in the column groups, what you can do, you can provide add auto CDR column group and specify the column groups on which delta conflict resolution and detection is performed. Okay. So auto CDR is the feature in Oracle Goldengate which ensures the conflicts in your environment are minimized and they are detected and resolved. So what are the types of conflicts which can come basically in your environment? Insert row exist. So insert row exist means you are inserting a row on one side, on another side, both sides, and insert row exist issue is coming. So when the replica tries to apply the data on other side, the insert row exist issue comes. Then it could be update row exist. So again, it could be you are updating a row on one side, inserting a row on another side. That is another possibility. Then there will be delete row exists. So you are deleting a row on one side and another side it is already existing, as we saw in case of delete update. So this scenario could be delete update or delete insert. So you are deleting a row from one side, updating from another side, or deleting a row from one side and inserting it from other side. So delete insert will not come, right, if you are deleting a row from one side. Ideally, this type of scenario will not be feasible at the application level, because when would you do insert? That means the record has already been deleted. So ideally at the application level, it won't be feasible. So I would not consider it right now. So on one side you are deleting a row, on another side you are updating a row. Insert row exists could come when you're inserting a row on one side, on another side also you're inserting. When you're updating a row on one side and you are updating a row on another side, update row exists issue is coming. Similarly, there could be delete row missing. So the row which you are trying to delete is missing from other side. So delete row missing, again, it could be delete update scenario as well. So when you are deleting a row, it is missing from other side, as we saw that scenario. Okay, so auto CDR handles all these types of conflicts in your environment. So add auto CDR, when we do it, resolves the conflict based on latest timestamp. If you want to enable on a particular column delta resolution, you can run delta res add auto CDR delta res procedure. And if you want to enable it on particular column groups as well, you can do on add auto CDR underscore column group. Okay, now another thing is, if you want to, now if you have enabled auto CDR, okay, now if you have to drop it. So to drop, what you have to do is you just have to run this, instead of add auto CDR, just use remove auto CDR. So when you do execute dbms Goldengate ADM dot remove auto CDR, it will remove the auto CDR from your Goldengate environment. Okay, so bidirectional configuration in Goldengate, as I told, is nothing but two-way unidirectional with some consideration. Those considerations are looping and conflict. So to handle the looping, use this translog options exclude tag 00. And to handle the conflict, you can use auto CDR feature if you are using Goldengate version 12.2 and database version is Oracle database version is 12.2 or greater. Okay, so using the, so even if you're using handling the conflicts, you always have to use this translog options exclude tag 00, because the default behavior of Goldengate is it is going to capture the transactions which are applied by the replicate process. So to ensure that extract process doesn't capture the transaction applied by the extract process, exclude the transaction with tag 00. Those transactions are applied by the replicate process. The extract process will not capture this. And to enable the auto CDR, use this add auto CDR procedure inside dbms Goldengate ADM package. Okay, thank you.